Kia ora and aroha. Greetings and love from New Zealand. For today's video, I'll be painting the magnificent Siamese Fighting Fish, which is also known commonly as the Betta Fish. Many of you must be already familiar with them, as you would have seen them in an aquarium because they are quite popular as pets. Their colors are fascinating and they swim very gracefully. Therefore, they are rightly known as the designer fish of the aquatic world. I'm writing a story about them because I had two of them, Jabu and Lani, a long time ago, so I thought it would be lovely to see them in a book. Something that we learn from experience when we start doing anything is to research our subject. If you're painting the same fish or another subject, spend some time learning about it, and that gives you a better understanding. The colors and materials used in this painting is in the description box below the video. You can click on the downward arrow below this video to view it. This video is also in a time lapse, so if you'd like to watch it at a slower or a faster pace, please click the three dots on the top right hand corner of the screen and then click on the playback settings where you can choose the desired speed. As I paint today, I'd like to talk about a creativity block. If you're an artist, you're already aware of this, but if you're new to art, you'll come across this phase at some point in your art journey. It's quite natural. For example, in exercising, if you push yourself too much, your body hurts. Similarly, if your mind keeps churning creative ideas all the time, you sometimes experience a burnout. Some people may disagree with this and say that if you churn a lot of ideas, you generate more of them. So all in all, it's different for each individual. As for me, I believe that if I practice doing something that is creative daily, I really enjoy it and it gives me motivation to do more. But I do need variety, as I could get quite bored doing the same thing or using the same medium daily. For example, during the month of October, I was doing the Inktober challenge, where you do pen and ink drawings for a month. I chose to do pen and ink drawing characters for my storybook, but midway I switched to digital drawings. On one of those days, I just took a big sheet of watercolor paper and splashed colors on it. And after seeing all those colors, I felt such a joy, a sense of satisfaction. And then the next day I could face doing the ink and pen characters again. Secondly, after the 31 days of drawing characters, I needed a break. I thought I'd rest for 2 days, but 10 days later, I still couldn't do anything creative. I did do some planning and researching behind the scenes, but couldn't actually sit down and create anything. I had so many ideas, but couldn't put anything down on pen and paper. So where does this creative block stem from? There are many reasons, but they mainly can be boiled down to our internal dialogue, where we justify our reasons for procrastinating, where we stare at blank pages and freeze for fear of putting down the first stroke. I learned an important lesson here, so I wrote down a list of things for me to remember the next time if I face such a situation. The first point is look for inspiration from artists that you admire, someone who you would want to draw or paint like. If you're not an artist, look for inspiration in any other sphere of creativity that inspires you. Point number 2, look for inspiration around you, in those small details around your house, like pets, plants, people, and outside your home, like flowers, colors, billboards, landscapes, seascapes. The third point, the tranquility that you experience on your walks sometimes sparks an idea where you see a flower, a tree, a person, a pet, or anything. Don't forget to write it down either on your phone or as soon as you get home. The fourth point would be go through your sketchbooks or paintings, and sometimes those spark a new idea for you, and you could be tempted to work on the same painting, but hold your thought there. Be very careful of that. I've reworked paintings and totally ruined them. The next point would be join like-minded groups in your area or on Facebook. See what the others are doing. You'll definitely find some inspiration there. Point number 6, get out of your comfort zone. Do something different, and that will evoke a sense of creativity within you. And the 7th point, last but not the least, is don't beat yourself up for taking a break. You need time to look after yourself, so just be glad that you finished one project and somehow get the inspiration to start on the next project soon. Let me know in the comments below if you've gone through such a phase and what you did to get in touch with your inner creativity. I'd like to thank you if you're visiting my channel for the first time. I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you also click on the little bell icon, you'll receive notifications every time I put up a new video, and that's more or less on a weekly basis. And to those visiting my channel again, I just have to simply say I love you for the support and motivation you provide. Like I said earlier, I'll put a list of all the colors and materials in the description box below. I just thought I'll go through it very quickly with you. I'm using yellows, blues and greens for this painting, and a very slight dash of red for the lips of the fish. Now, because these are character drawings, I try to stylize them, and they may look a bit different from the realistic Betta fish. The most important thing in watercolors is to start with very thin layers, and that means adding more water and then doing a lot of layers. I also thought of mentioning here that if you're following me on Instagram at brinrose.art, I've also started a new page, brinrose.illustrations, where I'm putting up all my illustrations there. So gradually I'm removing all the illustrations from my art page. My art page, brinrose.art, will be only for paintings and poetry, and the illustrations will be taken to brinrose.illustrations. I'll put these links in the description box too. I've written a lot of short stories this year, maybe about a dozen of them. And I decided to illustrate for them, so I started creating all the characters also, and hopefully I am able to publish a couple by next year. So if you've seen my previous watercolor paintings, you'll notice the process that I follow is the same for all of them. If you haven't seen it, please go back to my video list, and after you've watched this painting, of course, but have a look at the other watercolor paintings and you'll see that the process is more or less the same. For this particular painting, I've used a wet on wet technique where I put on water first and then apply the paint. I hope you guys are well in whichever part of the world you are in. Here in New Zealand, we've been for over 2 months in lockdown. We're still in lockdown, and hopefully we get over this phase soon. Do take care of yourselves. For all my watercolor paintings, I'd love to do splashes, even acrylics, and you'll see me doing some splashes here, white, blue and green, just to complement the colors of the subject that I'm painting. Bye for now, and see you in another video soon.